Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Penguin Nonsense. I'm back, you guys. I know it's been a while. I had promised y'all a comeback last year, and everything was just so hectic. Like I felt like we were doing so much every week. There was always something, and there was always trying to catch up and trying to go and trying to catch up and trying to go. And I think it came down to this whole like I was just so overwhelmed with everything going on that I think I didn't want to do the podcast for a moment, and so I made it my goal this year to try to stick to something because I have a really bad habit of starting stuff and then stopping them, just because I can't do. I guess I can't do routines or stick to them long enough, and that's a me problem that I need to work on. And yeah, if y'all hear my little doggies in the background, just bear with us, okay? But yeah, it's been a long ride. It's been a long year. I think it's time, we're getting hit 30 this year. I think it's time I dedicate it to something, to a hobby, and stick to it. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not here to promise anything. Like I said, I don't make any money off of this. It's just for fun and giggles. And for me to do something. I talk a lot. And I think people can tell you that. Like anyone who really knows me knows that I like to talk. So here we are, my 500 little stories. If you happen to be new to this, somehow you came across this or whatnot, and you're like, what is this about? Why is it called Penguin Nonsense? Let me give you a backstory. So I started this podcast a while ago, but I had stopped for a while, as I've already told you. And mainly, I just cover everything. Like, I have a tendency, if my head just goes from one story to another. And somehow they eventually all mix together, but nothing makes sense. So this is essentially this podcast. It's not stories just going on the same theme. It's just different stories that caught my attention. And I try to do like one about like the world news, something that's going on, something that's happening, something that has happened. Usually I try to add like a little chisme story. For those of y'all that don't speak Spanish, chisme would be like gossip story. So something from Reddit, something I found in Reddit that I was like, I would like to give my opinion, just FYI. And the last story is usually something happy, something to end on a good note. And this episodes usually come out on Monday, so usually like to end things on a good note starts a good week type thing. So I'm hoping that's what we go for. Going forward, who knows? Maybe I decide to change stuff a bit. I don't know, but for the moment, I think I'm sticking to it. Nonsense, and I will tell you that I have no degrees in anything or anything that I share. Anything that I share is strictly my opinion. I am a very open person, so feel free to give your opinions in the comments if you have any. And we're just all here to learn a little, be taught something. Who knows? And yeah, not to keep the intro long, but this is what we do. This is why we're here. And without any further ado, here we go with our first story of this week. So, today's first story comes from an article that I found about whether we can bring back extinct animals. And I think this has always been a topic, even from like the movies from Jurassic Park. I think that was like the movies that started this whole process of are we or are we not going to get any dinosaurs back into this generation or anything like that. And I think it was always a great dream, but honestly, I don't want to be around a T-Rex. So if we bring like maybe the herbivore dinosaurs or stuff like that, maybe, but definitely not a T-Rex or a velociraptor or anything like that. But I found this article and it says, scientists say that the they are close to resurrecting lost species. Is the age of de-extinction upon us? And it goes, Colossal Biosciences, the biotech company behind plans to revive the woolly mammoth, the dodo bird, and the Tasmanian tiger, announced Wednesday it has raised an additional $200 million in investments, bringing its total funding to $435 million. That's a hefty sum that grew from the initial $15 million in 2021. When entrepreneur Ben Lamb and Harvard University geneticist George Church founded the Dallas-based company. Colossal plans to recreate these creatures by editing the genome of the extinct animal closest living relative to make a hybrid animal that would be visually indistinguishable from its extinct forerunner. For the mammoth, that would be the Asian elephant. That's where they're going to start. And according to the article, it says that this could happen in the next 1 or 2 decades, which is only, 20 years? So at the latest would be 20 years. So 10 to 20 years. That is crazy to think about it when you're like, not too long ago, these were just stuff we would see in movies. And now these are things that may be happening. And you're like, do I want to be around with, woolly mammoths? I hear dodo birds, they became extinct because they were dumb. Do I know enough to know about that, if that's true? No, but I've heard. So, but I guess, getting to see a woolly mammoth, that would be cool. Because, we see elephants all the time, and they're supposed to be that much bigger. So I think it would be impressive, but at the same time, I don't know if it's right to bring back animals that have already gone, and if they would be, I can't think of the word, if they would be right for this time and age, because I feel like if these animals are evolving to meet the criteria that this earth is giving them or whatnot, or to live from whatever the earth is taking from them, and then they have to keep having these evolutions to survive, then there's a reason for it, right? But if all of a sudden we bring an animal that's used to a certain climate areas and stuff like that are no longer here, then is it going to be okay for them to come back, And I don't know how I feel about messing with that kind of stuff. I feel like if it's gone for a reason, let it be. But at the same time, I was reading through the article, and it said that if we were to bring woolly mammoths back, it would help a lot of the places where they would live that have a lot of ice caps, because their heavy footprints will help enclose that the ice and stuff, and pack it down, and so that would help most of these ice places stay, solid and firm. So I didn't even think that would actually be something we were worried about, but apparently it is. So the articles, everything I talk on these podcasts are in the descriptions below, so you can read them for yourselves, because there's a lot of information on there. Who this company is, what they've been doing, what their process are. And so you're not just hearing me sit here and read you this whole article, but that's just the little bits and pieces that I've read through it. And I just wanted to share that with you, because in 10 to 20 years, let's say it's 20, I'll be 50, I'll be closer to retirement. But those of you who might have kids, your kid might get to be around to see a mammoth, that is crazy in my head. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they're any closer. I know a lot of people were saying in the comments that this is just millionaires trying to find a hobby to spend their money on. And because a lot of these people who are donating this money are millionaires, and this feels like it could be put to better use, helping other stuff. But what do we know? We're not millionaires, right? So I don't know. It's it's a thing where you'll look at it and you're like, that's pretty cool. But I guess if you see that side where other people were commenting, like we could put those millions to good use somewhere else, then I definitely agree. I definitely agree that we could use those millions somewhere else. But, it's their money at the end of the day, and they're going to do whatever they want with it, right? So we'll keep looking forward to it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well, So that's the first story. And we will move on to our second story, which comes from our app, Reddit. It's not my app. But from the Reddit app, I just go around finding little stories here and there that I think y'all might be interested in or that caught my attention. And I'm only going to read one from the Reddit. And this is the one that I found this week. So it goes, my boss told me my coworker asked to take over, and my coworker told me she didn't. This is from the our What Do I Do subreddit, and the person who wrote it is great_lemon4846, and this was written 2 hours ago, so it's pretty fresh. I'm not sure if there's much comments. There's a few of them here, so let's see what happened. And there was a lot of misspelling in here, so as I read through it, I'm going to try to make up for it, okay? So it goes, I work at a small theater. For the last half year, my coworker, Elle, and I have been leading an improv workshop. 1 week it's her turn and 1 week it's mine. Today, my boss sent me an email that said that Elle had requested to take over weekly and that I should take a back seat and only help out if she couldn't make it. I thought Elle and I were good friends, so I was confused why she didn't give me a heads up that she needed the money or something. I would have to step back immediately, and I'm not even graduated from the high school equivalent here, and I live with my mom, so I can't take a small hit on my monthly pay. But I texted Elle to ask her about it, and Elle told me she didn't tell my boss anything, or that she didn't even know anything of what I was talking about. So now, I don't know who to believe or how to react. I haven't responded to my boss yet. I trust Elle. She's super sweet and nice, and I don't think she lied to me like that. But I don't know if I can believe that my boss is lying to me. But Elle also used to say that she doesn't want to be led that she doesn't want to lead the workshop every week because it's too much work. So I don't know who to believe anymore. I don't know what to think, and I'm getting into my head over this. Why would my boss lie? Or is Elle lying to me? I thought we were friends, but what do you guys think? Well, I always feel like in these moments of he said, she said moments, I feel like it's always just brings the better of us to bring both parties to, I guess, the situation. So in this case, it would be her boss and Elle, and be like, hey, I wanted to come in and talk about this because, she's saying that she hasn't said anything, and you're telling me to step down. It's if it really is your boss going behind Elle's back or something and making you want to step down from this, then it's probably like, did I do something wrong? Is there something that I need to improve on or something like that? And, if Elle is lying, then if she did go behind your back, then you probably did better to find out in front of your boss that, Elle is a liar than to do it behind quarters. Because if you do it just between you and Elle and go to your boss and be like, hey, did I do something wrong? And your boss is like, no, Elle just did it. And then you go out and you get into a fight with Elle because all of a sudden now you have this dilemma with her, and why is she lying to you, and why is she going behind your back and trying to take your job and all that stuff. And, she might turn things around and then make it seem like you're psychotic, chaotic, whatever you want to call it, and that you were trying to start fights outside of work, and then that might even get you fired. So I would just take L and go sit with your boss and, try to sort it out there. What happened? What was the miscommunication? Maybe L heard you say something where like, gosh, it would be better if I could have some free time or something. And then maybe she took it, I could do this by myself, and she went in and told the boss, hey, I think I can take over this, she needs a break, that kind of stuff, because she was looking out for you. So that could be like the good part of it. Like maybe she heard something and misunderstood, and yes, she should have ran it by you first, but sometimes people try to do things and they don't realize they're not doing good for us. Like for me at work, I complain all the time. I don't want to be there. I want to quit, but I go to work every day. It doesn't mean my coworker or my boss, decides to be like, Edith, I think you're done. Like they keep me around. They love me. At least I think so. But, I feel like sometimes we can misunderstand stuff, and sometimes we try to help in what we think might work out for them, but not knowing that we're actually doing more harm than anything. So in my humble opinion, I really do think that y'all both need to sit down with your boss and talk this out. But the top comment said, here's what you should say. Hey boss, hey L, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Boss, your email told me XYZ, but when I asked L about this, they told me they didn't know anything about it. So I figure I must be missing something, and I want to address it so we're clear on what is needed. And they told him to like maybe send an email, to them saying that, or like talk to them. And that way everybody kind of figures out where the line is coming from, and just because I feel like everyone in here is pretty much saying the same thing, have a meeting with everyone present. Someone says that they should give us more information on what exactly the situation is going on. And the way I see it, if you can't prove anything from either side, who pays the bills, I go that route. So essentially saying, your boss is the one who pays the bills, not L. So as long as she I would tell your boss, I don't know what the misunderstanding was, but I'm still willing to come in here and do my job, because at the end of the day, your boss is the one paying your bills. So do whatever your boss tells you. And if it really is coming from your boss, sit down with your boss and be like, do I need to be better at my performance, or do I need to give or do something that, helps me stay here, keeps my hours going, that kind of stuff. Just really, it all comes down to communication at the end of the day. Communication between your boss and communication between L. And if L has something against you, then take it out outside, not in the workplace. But definitely communication. Communication is key, guys. That's what they say. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think she should probably do something else? Do y'all think maybe take it up with L, fight it out? I'm kidding. No. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And on to our last story of today, January 21st. It's coming up. Today is the 19th because we film on Sundays. So tomorrow it will be the 20th. So then you have the 21st, Tuesday. Tuesday will be the first day that we can see 6 planets aligned in our night skies. And so I found this article where it talked a little bit about like what you can do to see it and that kind of stuff. Because if you're anything like me, you find the night sky amazing. There's just so much out there that we don't know what's going on out there, but it's there, And most of our stories, as sometimes I do, I don't try to lean towards space, but you know how the algorithm works. It just keeps bringing up little stories here and there. So it's not that I always try to end on a good note about space stories, but space is awesome. So this week, if you look up the night sky on January 21st, you'll see 6 planets. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and will be visible simultaneously in the sky, and their alignment will be easily visible from almost all parts of the globe. The alignment will be visible for about a month or until about mid-February. To get the best view, allow 20-30 minutes for your eyes to adjust to the dark, and you'll want to see this planetary alignment after the sun has set, and from the location far away from artificial light, because artificial light makes the night sky not be as visible, whatever is in the night sky. So try to find somewhere dark, and it goes that Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, and Venus will appear in an arc from east to west, and you can spot 4 of these planets with your naked eyes. However, 2 of them, Uranus and Neptune, require a good pair of high-powered binoculars or a backyard telescope. So if you have a telescope and binoculars, you'll be able to see all 6. If you don't, then you'll just be able to see 4 of them. But hey, seeing 4 of them to seeing none of them, that's pretty cool, right? And I think it comes down to the whole actually being able to have and live these moments, because at the end of the day, like, I think the article had said something about this. We get planets that align all the time, like 1 or 2 planets, they might align. 3, you're like, okay, yeah, cool. But 6, it doesn't happen that often. And I think the thing had said something about it being, I think until 2046, that the next time we'll be able to see these many planets line. So, if you get a chance between January 21st to February, or let's say late February, then you'll be able to see it. And I think that's pretty cool. So take a moment every night, just to go out there and maybe see. You can download these apps, these star apps that, can show you kind of like where to look towards. Don't ask me yet. We're not sponsored by anyone, but I know these apps exist, okay? And you can point them towards the night sky, and they will tell you where each star, with the names that they are, the planets that they are, and that way you can have a better look and see where you're supposed to be looking at. So, obviously, the later it gets, the more unaligned they're going to become. So the article was mentioning something about, like, closer to February, it will slowly start, like, yeah, they'll still be there aligned, but it won't be as straight as it normally, or the little arch that it's making. So just keep that in mind. And, well, that was it. I hope you enjoyed that night sky view on the 21st. And that was it for Penguin Nonsense, I was happy to be back. I'm happy to, get this started again. And hopefully we can grow this, continue this. And you guys let me know your comments, your opinions. Like I said, I'm pretty open-minded. So whatever y'all have to say, I'm usually pretty good at listening and understanding y'all's sides of it too. And without further ado, I hope y'all have a good week. I hope y'all get to see the 6 planets align, and I hope y'all are excited about the Billy Mammoth coming back. And let me know what you guys thought on that Reddit story. So that is all. You guys have a good day, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.